A young boy saves every penny to buy a special gift for his mom, but when the price goes up, his heart sinks, until Clint Eastwood walks in and changes everything. What happens next is beyond imagination. Before we start, let us know. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments and don't forget to like and share. On a chilly December evening in 2013, 12-year-old Ethan Parker stood nervously in a crowded toy store in Los Angeles. His small hands clutched a crumpled handful of dollar bills and coins, every cent he had saved from chores, small allowances, and even spare change found on the street. His eyes locked onto a delicate snow globe sitting on the shelf, the same one his mother, Claire, had admired weeks ago. He still remembered how she had paused in front of the store window, her voice wistful as she whispered, "Maybe someday." Claire worked tirelessly to keep their tiny apartment warm and welcoming, juggling 2 jobs, waitressing by day and cleaning offices by night. Money was always tight, but she never let Ethan feel the weight of their struggles. No matter how little they had, she always made Christmas special. Ethan wanted this year to be different. He had saved exactly $17.36, mostly in coins, walking miles through the cold just to be here. With a deep breath, he stepped up to the counter, gripping the snow globe tightly, hoping the price hadn't changed. When Ethan finally reached the counter, his stomach dropped. The cashier looked up with an apologetic expression. "I'm sorry, kid," he said. "The price went up last week. It's $22 now." Ethan's heart sank. He counted his money again, hoping for a miracle, but it was no use. Tears welled up as he turned away, disappointment pressing heavily on his chest. Before he could take another step, a deep, steady voice cut through the air. "Hey, let me help with that." Ethan froze. Slowly he turned around and there he was. Clint Eastwood. The cashier's mouth fell open. Ethan could only stare in disbelief. Clint crouched to his level, his gaze kind yet firm. "You buying this for someone special?" Ethan nodded quickly, his voice barely above a whisper. "For my mom. She works a lot. She really liked it when we saw it before." Clint smiled, pulling out his wallet. "Well then," he said, handing the cashier a crisp $50 bill. "This one's on me, and make sure the kid gets some change." Ethan could hardly breathe. "Thank you," he whispered, his heart racing. But Clint wasn't done yet. "I've got a soft spot for moms," Clint said with a knowing smile. "She sounds pretty amazing. What's her name?" "Claire," Ethan answered, still in shock. Clint's smile widened. "Well, Ethan," he said, his voice steady, "let's make sure Claire has the best Christmas ever." In that moment, Clint Eastwood didn't just buy a gift. He changed their Christmas forever. Clint glanced around the store, then turned back to Ethan with a twinkle in his eyes. "Mind if I help you pick out something else for her?" Ethan blinked. "Really?" Clint nodded, smiling. "Absolutely. I know just what she needs." As they walked through the aisles, Ethan's mind raced. Clint Eastwood, someone he had only seen on screen, was here, helping him find the perfect gift for his mom. It didn't feel real. Clint asked about Claire, what she liked, what made her happy. Ethan found himself opening up more than he ever had before, sharing how hard she worked, how much she loved Christmas, and how she always put him first. Clint listened intently, his interest genuine. They stopped near a display of cozy scarves. Clint picked up a deep red one and handed it to Ethan with a knowing smile. "This one's perfect for her," he said. "She's going to love it." Ethan held the scarf, feeling something shift inside him. This wasn't just about a Christmas gift anymore. It was about making his mom feel special, just like she always made him feel. At the checkout, Clint paid for the snow globe and scarf without hesitation. Then, crouching down to Ethan's level, he handed him the bag, his voice soft but firm. "Now promise me one thing," Clint said. "When you give this to her, tell her it's not just from you. Tell her it's from someone who thinks she raised an amazing kid." Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes. He hugged the bag close to his chest, his voice barely above a whisper. I will. A voice from the crowd suddenly called out, "Hey Clint, you're a legend, man!" A ripple of applause followed as more people began to notice the actor. Someone else shouted, "Can we get a photo?" Clint smiled politely, nodding in acknowledgement. Then, glancing at Ethan with a twinkle in his eye, he leaned in and whispered, "Want to help me escape?" He winked, his playful grin easing the moment. Before Ethan could respond, a middle-aged woman in a sharp suit stepped forward. "Mr. Eastwood," she said, her tone firm but respectful. "Can I have a word?" Clint's expression shifted slightly, still calm, but now more guarded. He turned to Ethan, offering a reassuring smile. "Hang tight for a second, okay?" He stepped aside with the woman, speaking in hushed tones. Ethan couldn't hear their words, but he noticed a subtle change in Clint's face. First, surprise, then deep thought, his brows furrowing as though weighing something important. A moment later, Clint turned back toward Ethan, his expression now resolute. "Ethan," he said, his voice steady, "how about we make this an even better day for your mom?" Ethan blinked, unsure of what Clint meant. But something about the certainty in Clint's voice made him trust the man completely. Just like in the movies, calm, confident, and always with a plan. Clint crouched down again, bringing himself to Ethan's level. His voice softened, carrying a sincerity that couldn't be ignored. "Sometimes people come into your life at just the right moment. I think this is one of those moments. Trust me." Ethan nodded slowly, unsure of what was coming next, but feeling safe in Clint's presence. Clint's expression became more focused, though his eyes still held warmth. "Before we go," he said, his tone gentle but serious, "tell me something about your mom. What's her dream? What does she love most in the world, besides you?" Ethan hesitated, his mind racing. His mother rarely spoke about herself. Her dreams had always come second to making sure he was okay. But he remembered one late night when he had overheard her talking to herself, almost like she didn't want anyone to hear. "She always wanted to be a teacher," Ethan finally admitted, his voice quieter than before. "But she couldn't finish college because of me. She says it's okay, but I know she wishes she could have." Clint's face softened. For a moment, his eyes drifted, as if he were lost in thought. Then, as quickly as the moment had come, his focus snapped back to Ethan, his expression now steady, resolute. "Let's make something happen for her, yeah?" Clint said, his voice filled with quiet determination. There was something about the way Clint spoke, calm, certain, unshakable, that made Ethan believe, even if just for a moment, that maybe this Christmas would change everything. Before Ethan could respond, Clint gently took his hand and led him toward the exit. A small crowd had gathered, some filming, calling out Clint's name. But Clint remained calm, offering a polite wave before keeping Ethan close by his side, shielding him from the attention. As they stepped outside, the crisp air hit Ethan's face, sending a small shiver down his spine. He suddenly realized how far from home he was. His voice wavered slightly. "I should probably go back. My mom gets worried if I'm late." Clint crouched down, meeting Ethan's eyes with quiet reassurance. "Do you trust me to get you home safely?" His voice was steady, not just offering a ride, but a promise of care. Pulling out his phone, Clint made a quick call. Within minutes, a sleek black SUV pulled up, its polished surface gleaming under the city lights. Clint opened the door, gesturing for Ethan to get in before sliding in beside him. As the car moved through the streets, Ethan found himself opening up. He spoke about his mother, how she worked tirelessly yet always made time for him, how she smiled even when things were hard. He shared their small Christmas traditions, decorating their tiny tree, watching old movies together. Clint listened, his expression thoughtful, his presence steady. When they arrived at Ethan's apartment, Clint walked him to the door and crouched down one last time, placing the bag in his hands. "Now remember," he said softly but firmly, "this isn't just about the gifts. It's about letting your mom know how much she means to you. She sounds like an incredible woman." Ethan nodded eagerly. "I will. Thank you." Clint ruffled his hair, offering one last warm smile before turning back to the waiting car. Ethan stood there, gripping the bag tightly, watching as Clint disappeared into the night, his heart full, his life forever changed. The next day, as promised, Clint returned. But he didn't just bring gifts. He brought hope. A full scholarship for Claire to attend college and finally pursue her dream of becoming a teacher. It wasn't just about money. It was about giving her a second chance at the life she had once put on hold. When the scholarship letter arrived, Claire stared at it in disbelief. Her hands trembled as she looked at Ethan, tears welling in her eyes. "We did it," she whispered, pulling him into a tight hug, overwhelmed with gratitude. On Christmas morning, as Ethan and Claire unwrapped the few small gifts under their modest tree, a knock echoed through their tiny apartment. Another delivery. Inside was a brand new laptop and textbooks for Claire's studies. A small note was tucked inside. "Every teacher needs the right tools. I know you'll make a difference. Keep believing in yourself." Claire pressed the note to her chest, tears streaming down her face. Ethan grinned, hugging her tightly, knowing this was more than just a Christmas gift. It was the start of a new chapter. Years passed, and Claire worked hard, balancing school and motherhood. But on the toughest days, when doubt crept in, she would glance at the snow globe sitting on their shelf, a symbol of kindness, resilience, and the power of believing in others. This story isn't just about a Christmas gift. It's about how one act of kindness can change a life. Clint Eastwood didn't just buy a present. He gave a struggling mother the chance to chase her dreams. And he reminded a young boy that the world still has people who truly care. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. And tell us in the comments, how would you help someone in need this holiday season?